recently I did something really interesting, which was to plot the journey of a convict ship which took 350 or so prisoners from the UK to Australia. This is for a private research project, and I was just really curious to see which route the ship would have taken back then. That was back in 1819 when this journey took place. And luckily I had access to the captain's logbook, and that logbook contained the coordinates at midday each day. So I had to create a spreadsheet first of all, which contained all these coordinates, and 3 columns: name, and I just used, in this case I just used the date of each day, the latitude and the longitude, and you have to make sure that you get a value for each and every single instance, otherwise this process is not going to work. I then went to this website, earthpoint.us, Excel to KML. KML is a file format which contains geographic data, but you can convert an Excel spreadsheet into a KML file using this website. It explains the process in detail here, but the shortcut is, or the short version of it is what I'm giving you now. So you simply choose the file, that Excel spreadsheet which you created before, and by the way, just going back to my Google Docs document here, if you're using Google Docs, you don't have Excel, this is quite simple. Simply download it as an Excel file. So going back here, I chose the Excel spreadsheet, then I clicked on View on Google Earth, and this then created the KML file and saved it on my computer. I then went to back to Google Earth, and I clicked on File, Open, and selected the KML file that I wanted to open. I then found that under the Places tab here, there is a new item. It called Coordinates, but you can see that this is the correct file, earthpoint Excel to KML. So if I can just toggle this on and off, you can see how the dot points appear and disappear. So if you're interested, keep watching. It's actually quite an interesting journey that this ship took. So they set off at Spithead in the UK on the 11th of September 1819. They made their way along the Iberian Peninsula, along the west coast of Africa. They hit a bit of a snag here. There wasn't much wind, somebody died, had to be buried at sea, and then they continued in at a fairly steady pace, it seems. And they went closer to South America than I thought they would, but perhaps that is because a lot of these convict ships actually stopped over at Rio de Janeiro, which is about here. Although this one didn't, and they did have provisions to last them to Sydney. The weather must have been fine or good enough to continue on along that path. Just going to straighten this up a bit here. So they passed the southern tip of Africa, Cape of Good Hope, and all the way across to Australia. They arrived in Hobart, which is in Tasmania, capital of Tasmania, on the 9th of January 1820. Most of the convicts disembarked here. Only a handful continued to Sydney a few days later. They took 1, 2, 3, 4 days to arrive in Sydney on the 28th of January 1820.